This is RJ-Carbone, and you're listening to BD4.
One by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof. Good. Rose. He shook up the world again. Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down. And the game is tied.
See ya. A monster home run. Back-to-back home runs by the baby Bombers.
Penetrates, creates, and shows some dexterity as well with the left hand.
Deep to left. It's on its way. There it goes. And the Yankees are going for the win. Oh, let's go. Off the window. Oh, my God. Unbelievable. The first punch he threw. Houston ducks under. Got it. With 8 left. It's time. Yankees win. Yankees win.
All right. What's happening, everybody? What's going on? I'm your host, RJ-Carbone, and you are listening to episode 377 of the podcast. Welcome to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA now, too. Yankees every series. Knicks every game. MMA on weekends. Got a big pay-per-view coming up next weekend. UFC 275, I believe, and it's the one in Singapore. Yeah, man, it's been a hell of a stretch. All season, it's been like one giant hot stretch for the Yankees. So we're gonna go over the most recent series where they swept again. This time they swept the Dodgers, they swept the Tigers to wrap up their 6-game homestand 6-0. So we'll talk about it. As I am recording, it is Sunday, June 5th. And as you are listening to this episode, it should be Monday, June 6th. It's crazy, man. The days just go by so quickly. It's hard to keep count. It's hard to stay in the friggin' moment. Every time I look up, it's a new day, a new month. It's insane. It's already June. To me, it feels like the end of February. Not like the weather, but just like the vibe I have. It feels like we're just getting into warm weather. Like, no, like we've been in summer for a bit. We've been in this atmosphere. Like, wow. But welcome to the show. Thank you for stopping by. If you are new here to BD4, be sure to subscribe to the podcast. You can find this podcast on many platforms. Apple Podcasts, download these episodes there. You can also get episodes on Spotify, SoundCloud. You can watch the podcast on YouTube and Spotify. If you do listen to the podcast, and if you do listen to it on Apple Podcasts, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and review. We are currently a 5-star podcast and would like to keep it that way. I am also on Facebook at rjcarbone, and I'm on Instagram at robjcarbone. And of course, if you want to follow along with the blog that I write, go to ultimatesportsnetworks.com and put into the search bar the Bomber Bacher blog, where you will find my blog on the Yankees and Knicks. And if you subscribe to the Bomber Bacher blog on ultimatesportsnetworks.com, using promo code 6A2841ERJC, you get a 20% discount off your subscription and 10% off any merchandise. Also, guys, we have a new sponsor to the show. Now, if you guys have a podcast or if you have a blog or any kind of platform that you want out there, get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. What that is a podcasting production agency where he's going to get your platform out there. He's going to brand your podcast on social media, and he will get it out there. So if you are interested in something like that, in promoting your show, your blog, whatever it is that you want to promote and brand and market, reach out to Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. He's already got a number of podcasts signed with him. I just did, and my podcast has gotten bigger since. So check out Studio 69 Productions. Reach out to Leo Rodriguez, who's also the host of Say No More. All right, guys, we're going to get into the episode. We're not going to waste any further time. But first, I want to thank you for stopping by. I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you are watching the podcast on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. Hey, guys. So I've noticed that only a small portion of you who watch BD4 on YouTube are actually subscribed. So if you do enjoy this podcast, and maybe you want to be notified when new episodes release, I'd consider subscribing and also hitting that notification bell. This way, we can help the channel grow, and you won't miss a single episode of BD4. Alright, let's get back to it. Welcome back to the show, episode 377 of BD4. I'm your host, rjcarbone. So, this morning I was walking up to get my coffee. There's a bakery around the corner from me. And I run into my neighbor. And this is a really nice old man. He's lived across the street from me my entire life. I've known him since I was a kid. He's this immigrant from straight off the boat. This Italian immigrant. And, my family's Italian. We've got Italian roots. We're Italian American. But this guy's legit from off the boat. And, so every time I see him, we have a conversation. But there's a language barrier there. And in 27 years of knowing this guy, I know just as much of what he's saying today than I did when I first started talking to him. He's a great guy. He's a nice guy. But man, we every time I see him, we're talking for 5 minutes, and the best I get is catching a few words here and there. So if I hear him say something, if I hear him, like for example, this morning when I saw him, I heard the word coffee, and I was like, all right, let me run with that. And so I was able to at least have some kind of flow to the conversation because I heard that he was, all right, he must be talking about coffee because he knows I go and get the coffee in the morning and he runs into me on the way up. But it's hard sometimes, man. It's hard. And it makes me want to learn the language. As somebody who's got family history there, it's like, wow, you know what? Maybe I should probably learn the language. But yeah, I don't know. I just found that funny. Every time I run into him, I just never know. It's hard. Great guy. Just, it's always the same. Yeah. All right. Yeah, there's not much going around right now in baseball other than, like, the Yankees being amazing. The Mets are, they looked like shit the first two games against the Dodgers, and I loved it. Then they took the next two, so that was annoying. But they still, they suck. They're the Mets. They're gonna find a way to suck, and they're not that good. Okay, I hate the Mets. They're scum of the earth. They've got them and their fans. They've got the little brother syndrome, and I love that the Yankees are known as the alpha there of the city. Mike Trout apparently sucks now. He's on an 0 for 26 slide. He has not had a hit. He's not had a hit in what was it, 8 games, 7 games now? He has been brutal. He forgot how to hit. He was batting .310. I think he's down to .274. And the Angels, boy, do they suck. Every year, people are like, oh, this is the year. This is the year. No, they suck. They spent all that money. They've got arguably the two best players in baseball on their team, and they still find a way to suck. They've lost 11 games in a row. Today, they thought they ended it. They lost in the 9th inning. That's what I heard, at least. They suck. They suck. Same shit every year. That's what I expect to happen to the Mets soon. You know, man, I was on social media after. Not on social media. I was on my phone listening to the game on the app. What's it called? The MLB Bat app during the first game of the series on Friday night because I was working. I was on the golf course, so I was like, all right, I don't want to miss too much, so I'll just listen to it. I have the Apple TV broadcast up, but it was like in my hand, in my pocket, and I was just listening to the broadcast. And every time I download like a radio app or something, I can't find WFAN. But in the Apple TV, oh my gosh. First of all, like Peacock, Apple TV, Amazon, the amount of stress I have now having to remember all these streaming services, to be able to, remembering just to cancel them at the end of the season, it's just annoying, man. It's so annoying. It's like I have enough of that shit already with UFC, having to subscribe to ESPN and ESPN Plus and NBA TV and YouTube TV. Like, I've got all that shit. Now I need Peacock. Now I need Apple. Now I need Amazon. Jesus Christ. I mean, if you're Manfred, this is not how you grow the sport, man. Getting people to have to pay for more platforms, and that's not the way to grow the game, man. That shit's got to go next year. We cannot continue to do that. The Apple TV broadcast was brutal. It was brutal. Literally, when I was listening to the game, they were talking about Garrett Cole's over-under at 8.5 strikeouts. And the head commentator, a woman, gotta be inclusive, so she goes, what's the 8.5 for? What's the half for? Did they drop a third strike? And I thought she was kidding. There was dead silence after. There were no laughs. And she just kept talking. Now, you don't need to be a betting extraordinaire. You don't need to like betting or anything. But if you're going to be the head commentator of a baseball game and you're expected to read that, you have to know. You have to at least know what the hell 8.5 means. I mean, it's a 1 minute conversation. Half is, so when you bet over, you have 9. When you bet under the half, that means 8 or less. Like, that's all it takes. That took 10 seconds. She goes, does that mean they dropped a third strike? It was brutal. The Peacock commentating today in Game 3, Sunday, was a little better. It was actually solid. I like the idea. Flaherty, I love. I'm a big Flaherty guy. As boring as he can sound, I do like his takes. The other two were good. They had guys from each team, and then they had commentators. It was good, but holy shit, there was one nitpick I had. So the producers, they brought out food for the commentators, and this was like maybe in the 5th or 6th inning or something like that. I don't know. And like I thought they were just gonna eat during break and stuff. These guys, I mean, one guy literally head in the food, eating, talking with his mouth full, and the camera pans on him, and he's literally chewing food live on TV during a baseball broadcast, cameras on him, and he goes, "Someone talk." Someone talk? You have to watch. It's got to be online. Somebody had to have clipped it because I know I wasn't just the only one who was like, "What?" The dude goes, "Someone talk." Wait, what? It was the most not unprofessional thing in the world. You could hear the disturbing ass noises of them chewing and sucking their fingers as they talked. Oh, the chills I got down my spine. It was like, what's that weird creepy shit that people like sometimes? Like when they like those subtle noise, ASMR. It was like that shit. It was so egregious that I sort of respected it. I sort of respected the shit out of it because it was so whack, so odd. Other than that, it was a good broadcast. It was pretty good. The 11:30 start time was odd. Something with the George Washington Bridge. Imagine watching that from the West Coast. You have to get up at, what, 8:30? Jesus. Yeah, I mean, I was on social media, and, like, if you don't know, if you're still unsure if Jose Trevino and Matt Carpenter like the Yankees and like being here, follow them on Instagram, and you'll find out in a second. Great follows. You can just tell they love the city. Excuse me. Miguel Andujar requested a trade after Saturday night's win. I mean, how could you not understand where he's coming from? Like, I understand it's a numbers game. But, I mean, if you're Miguel Andujar, and, you know, to get this out there, he wasn't raking. He wasn't on fire. He was doing okay. He looked fine. Decent. But that's all you need to look like as a 27-year-old former top prospect who had a very good rookie season, when the guys who are taking your job essentially are batting, you know, around the Mendoza, give or take. Joey Gallo and Aaron Hicks are on this roster. Miguel Andujar, rookie of the year not too long ago, is not. So in his shoes, yeah, I'm going to be pissed. Gallo's making $10 million. He's a free agent coming up. At some point, if this continues, I know he hit a home run today, when do you bite the bullet and go, all right, we might just need to DFA him? Aaron Hicks, I don't see anybody wanting to trade for him. At what point, if this continues, do you go, okay, we need to DFA him? Like, at some point, you can't continue to trot those two clowns, those two black holes, those two toxins out there in this lineup. I'd rather have a pitcher bat 10 times out of 10. Two pitchers in their spots. Then watch Aaron Hicks. So if I'm Miguel Andujar, yeah, hell yeah, I request a trade. I don't know if they're going to get much for him if they do end up trading him. If they move him, maybe it could hopefully be for some, you know, for a necessity, like a middle relief pitcher, a decent reliever. Maybe you could strike lightning in a bottle with, like you did with Clay Holmes. But that happened Saturday night, and I totally 100% understood. Because he gets sent down as soon as Stanton comes back. And he's angry about it. What else did I see on social media? The Rays lost $35 million due to wokeness. DeSantis wins again. And they tried to push that pride shit onto their players. And a few of them refused to. As they have every right to. I'm not against that. I'm just against the idea of pushing it for profit, like fucking every corporation does now, and every league. All right, let's talk Yankees. Great series, 6 wins in a row. Dude, the stadium has been nuts lately. I mean, it's June. These are Angels games, Tigers games. It is hot out. It's loud. It's packed. It's insane, and you gotta love it. So, let's talk Yanks when we get back from break. Stay with us. So, if you guys want to follow me on social media, be sure to do so right now. I'm on Facebook at rjcarbone, and I'm also on Instagram at rjcarbone. Once again, if you want to find me on Facebook, that is rjcarbone. Instagram at robjcarbone. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, rjcarbone. Let's talk some Yankees. Let's get into it. All right, so game one of this... Hold on one sec. Turn the TV off. All right. Game one of this series against the Detroit Tigers, who are pretty bad. Like I said, the Yankees won. And I was watching, I saw a lot of this game. Or I missed a lot of this game. I was listening to the broadcast, like I said, at work. But I got home, watched the last 4 innings or so. And the Yankees won 13-0. It was Garrett Cole versus this rookie prospect, who we'll get to in just a second, Elvin Rodriguez. They do have another E-Rod. That's the one from Boston, but he's currently hurt. This is Elvin Rodriguez. Friday night, the Yankees won 13-0. Bottom of the third, they started up. Trevino and Judge go deep. Right past the porch, Judge goes for number 20 on the year at the time. 2-0 Yankees after 3. Bottom of the fourth, Trevino triples. And if you saw the play, that's why the Detroit Tigers are where they are. Hicks singles, and it's 5-0. Bottom of the fifth, Rizzo and Carpenter both homer. DJ slaps an RBI base hit. It's 12-0 Yankees by then. 8th inning, Judge tacks on, ripping a single off a position player to make it 13-0. Yanks end up scoring 13 runs on 15 hits, 8 extra base hits, 5 walks they drew, 7 strikeouts, 2 double plays grounded into, 5 for 7 with runners in scoring position, and 4 men left on base. This was just an absolute amazing onslaught of offense all around, and much needed. It's so nice to see this lineup score runs off of a whole bunch of hits, right? They actually hit the ball well. It's, the Yankees are a team who slug a lot, walk a lot, but 15 hits is no joke. I did really feel bad because they did it all, the majority of those runs were off a rookie pitcher. Apple TV, the broadcast team, was even saying, they came right out and said, this guy belongs in Double-A, not Triple-A. He's a Double-A pitcher. And I don't know what the hell AJ Hinch, his problem is, but he left the kid out there to dry. 4 1/3 innings, 11 hits, and 10 runs. How you leave a rookie pitcher out there to surrender 10 runs is beyond me. But, you're thinking at one point, there's going to be some point that comes up during maybe the 6th or the 7th run where Hinch will be like, okay, he doesn't have it. Let me save face here for the kid. No, he leaves him out there to dry, giving up a 10 spot. I don't think I've ever seen a stat line that bad. Even some of Tanaka's ballooned, clunkers may not have been that bad. And Tanaka had some bad outings when he was off. But also the Tigers' defense was pretty brutal all series. The Trevino triple should not have been a triple if you saw it. Castro in center field misread the shit out of that. They're letting balls bounce off their gloves. They're crashing up against the wall, balls falling out of their gloves. They're forgetting how many outs there are. The right fielder did. And there were just a few other terrible plays too. My goodness. And Elvin Rodriguez, who was pitching, was actually tipping his pitches. And if you didn't see it yet, there's a great breakdown of it. What's his name did it? John Boy. He breaks the whole thing down. It's really good. It's good stuff. You should definitely check it out. And basically in the video, he was saying how I think Donaldson was the one who caught it from first base, leading off first base. And not long after, Carpenter bunted to beat the shift, but they think he bunted to get Rodriguez into the set position coming out of the stretch, because he does it for the second out of the inning, and he bunts with 2 outs now, and you have light hitters like IKF and Trevino behind him. This is a guy, Carpenter, who has done nothing but hit home runs for each of his hits before this at bat. And in the breakdown, you'll see Rodriguez, I think it was when he looks to third base from the set position, he's going fastball. And I think when he looks to home plate, he was going off speed or something. Check out the video, it's great. But he was tipping his pitches clearly. It was great to see DJ LeMahieu come, pick up 2 more hits. He picked up 2 hits, a walk, and some more RBIs as well. Aaron Judge with 4 hits in this game. Just what else is there to say? Continuing to just be Aaron Judge and have a tremendous season. We'll get to him. Anthony Rizzo led the way with 3 RBIs. Matt Carpenter, as I said, 2 more hits for Carpenter. The home run, the bunt single to beat the shift. And man, I was doing some thinking. Like, why did we just, for a while there at least, we just stopped going after lefties? Right? It's crazy. Like, every great Yankees team had lefties, and then for a stretch there, we just stopped going after many lefties. You see what lefties can do in this place. You don't even have to be a home run hitter, and you might find your way to 15-plus home runs, which Carpenter very well could, right? Carpenter's, he's old, and he was never, he's not a guy who's going to mash 40 a year, but, he's got potential to actually reach the 15 homer mark, even though he just got here, because his swing is literally tailor-made for this ballpark. So you have him, you've got Rizzo. I mean, they're both of their swings are just tailor-made for Yankee Stadium. But it's just funny. It's really funny. You figured it took long enough to get these lefties in here. And we're just picking guys out of a hat now. And they're coming in and they're freaking producing. That's what's so great about this Yankees team. They're picking guys, and Cashman's good at that, right? He did it with Voit. He did it with Urshela. He's doing it with Holmes. And now we're doing it with Trevino, right? Sure. Picked him up last minute, literally last minute. He becomes one of the best hitting catchers so far in baseball. Matt Carpenter, from the couch, nearing 40 years old. Sure, I'll come in and hit bombs for you. I mean, we're just picking guys out of nowhere, and they're coming in and producing. That's how you know it might be one of those seasons. Donaldson returns in the first game. He draws a couple of walks. Miggy picks up a hit. Well, we already got to that whole thing. Did we? Yeah. IKF smacked 2 doubles in the first game. Trevino homers, triples, walks, 3 RBIs. Like I said, just come on. The catching has been great, but the hitting, man, wow. Especially with today's catchers hitting as low as they do, as light as they are hitters. This is a guy who's now batting over 280, and he's got an OPS over 800. Jose Trevino. He was literally picked up April 2nd, I think. The season started on the 7th. Supposed to be this framing guy, decent defense, maybe, get the lower end of a 60-40 platoon. Well, that's changed. He's now earned the starting role. He's getting the 60%, and Higgy's now just become the other 2 days a week. So I can't say enough about Jose Trevino. Aaron Hicks had 1 hit in this game. Of course, the one of the few hits he gets all season with runners in scoring position comes in the game where they're tipping pitches. The Tigers were tipping their pitches. Gallo, though, Jesus Christ, I mean, he gets clowned on that at-bat with the bases loaded. Just throw it above the belt. That is all, and they did that. Cole goes 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts, no home runs, 102 pitches, and the win. He is now 5-1 with a 2.78 ERA. He was working quick, pounding the zone with the fastball. He didn't mess around and, nibble like he did last time versus Detroit, which was one of his early starts of the season. But he was pounding the zone, and he started racking up the strikeouts as the game went along. Hit a quick first inning. Quick 12-pitch first inning for a change, because he usually takes a bit to get going, at least this season. And he was doing so well, cruising through the entire game with a perfect game up until the top of the 7th inning. As soon as I walk in the door, coming home from work, walk in the door, and I'm watching it on my phone, walking in the door, boom, gives up the hit, of course. Base hit, just past a diving DJ LeMahieu at second base. Up the middle, though. But he keeps his composure and ends up going 7 strong, and he was just dominant. And then in the 8th inning and the 9th inning, we had our guy, Manny Banuelos. 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, a strikeout. It was so nice to see him out there, man. You know, obviously this is a kid, part of the Killer Bees with Betances, and who was Andrew Brackman, right? Back in 2011, he was one of their top prospects. Never got to play for the Yankees. Was in and out of the league for years. But he makes his Yankees debut 11 years later at the age of 31, and it's 2 shutout innings. So good for him. Hopefully he can become a consistent part of the bullpen. We will see. But yeah, the Yankees took the first game of this set 13-zip. Nothing but good things to say. Let's talk about the second game when we get back from break. Stay with us. So if you guys want to follow me on social media, be sure to do so right now. I'm on Facebook at rjcarbone, and I'm also on Instagram at rjcarbone. Once again, if you want to find me on Facebook, that is rjcarbone. Instagram at robjcarbone. So BD4 is on so many platforms to listen to. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud. You can listen to us on Spotify. You can find us on our sponsor, Anchor, and many other listening platforms as well, wherever you get your podcast. But we are also available to watch on YouTube. So if you want to watch us on YouTube, go subscribe there. But if you prefer to listen to us, again, many listening platforms. Just be sure to subscribe, download, give us a rating, a review, comment, share the podcast, and all that fun stuff. This is BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Alright folks, now if you are listening to BD4 on Apple Podcasts, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a review, if you so please. So once again, this is if you are listening to BD4 on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating and review. Thank you. All right, welcome back to the show. You are listening to episode 377 of BD4. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. Game 2 of this series, the Yankees won 3-0. This was on Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon, rather. Luis Severino going up against the rookie Brisky. Bottom of the first, leadoff hitter Aaron Judge going oppo for home run number 21 on the season. 1-0 Yankees. Bottom of the 6th, they score again when Rizzo smacks a solo shot, making it 2-0. Bottom of the 8th, Josh Donaldson picks up one of 2 sac flies in the series, makes it 3-0. Offense was okay. Not really. They were pretty bad, but pitching led the way. And it's Luis Severino, who once again gets the featured starting pitcher spot of the series, because Luis Severino, 7 innings pitched, no earned runs, 10 strikeouts, a walk, 1 hit, which was 1 single that we'll call it a single, and 92 pitches thrown. He had the damn no-hitter going himself. I mean, he did. But as you see on the screen, if you're watching the podcast, he is now pitched into the 7th inning for 3 consecutive starts now. I mean, if it wasn't for the poor scoring on the base hit that bounced off of IKF's glove, who knows what would have happened, right? Because it was earlier in the game. It wasn't like he was pitching 7 no-hit innings and then it happened. But still, it was an amazing performance. I mean, just watch the play again. They ruled it a single, but damn. I mean, it was Miguel Cabrera, so he gets that. But he looks so good, man. I'm just so happy with the way Severino looks this season. He is exceeding my expectations I had for him. His slider, oh my gosh, it was filthy in this game. The command he has on that pitch is great. Struck out the side in the 6th inning, just on pure filth. Got a ton of swinging misses all afternoon. He just looks like a complete pitcher now. You know how we always talk about how Aaron Judge has matured as a hitter since he first came into the league? Severino has matured as a pitcher. This season, you're seeing that next step. It used to just be fastball, slider, right? Fastball, slider. That was his his 2-pitch combo. And then we rarely saw the changeup. Now, he's fastball, changeup, slider, cutter. He's fastball, changeup, slider, cutter in that order. He's throwing fastballs, and his go-to breaking pitch, off-speed pitch, is the changeup. And it's filthy. All those pitches are filthy. He's going to the cutter the least. The cutter is still something that he worked in this year, right? It's a Matt Blake thing. He likes going to the lower left-hand corner of the plate with the cutter, dotting the fastball at 97 plus, but the changeup's got confidence. It's a pitch he never threw in the past. Now he's throwing it as his go-to off-speed. The slider is still a very good pitch. It's just so nice to see Luis Severino in this form. He's in vintage Luis Severino form. Remember the way he looked in the first half of, was it 2017 or 2018 before the injury that led to everything else, where he was pitching to a sub-2 on his way to an all-star game, looking like he was going to win the Cy Young. He's looking like that pitcher right now. He looks unbelievable. The swagger is back. We talk about that way too much on the show, but it's something I really appreciate from him, that energy, and just to see him in top form again is awesome. The concern, I don't know if it's a concern, but you wonder how many more 7-inning outings he has in him, because the Yankees are going to try to be a little more conservative with him, being that he's just coming back from a big injury, and they're going to try to save some innings for the postseason. But so far he's been on a roll, and I have nothing but positive things to say about Severino, hence why he gets another featured starting pitcher slot here on the show. Episode 377, Luis Severino is our featured starting pitcher. Unbelievable outing. He was just dominant. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, yeah. After him, it was Michael King and Clay Holmes, who combined for 2 innings, no hits, no walks, no runs, 2 strikeouts. Clay Holmes is just absolutely ridiculous. 24 appearances without a run allowed now, knock on wood. He looks like prime Zach Britton on steroids. I mean, there's nothing else to say when you're that dominant and your ERA is as low as a speed limit in a school zone. It's unbelievable. It's like .30. That's unbelievable. And it's like he's been so great. But it's like we haven't talked about him enough. He just won the reliever of the month, so I guess that's headlines. But like, you know how Nestor's kind of taken away some shine from like Tyone, who's been unbelievable. I feel like Clay Holmes is kind of the guy who's under the radar of the bullpen, despite being the best pitcher out of the pen. But just like I want his name to be out there more. He's so awesome. Offensively, like I said, only 3 runs on 4 hits. 3 of them for extra bases, 1 sac fly, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts. Stanton returned in the middle game here with a double and 2 strikeouts. DJ sat for some reason. Hicks picked up another hit. Judge and Rizzo stayed hot. Higashioka, for some reason, was out there. Gallo, 3 more strikeouts, but the Yankees won the middle game of this set. Yeah, it was a different game than the first. You score 10 less runs, but you shut the Tigers out for a second consecutive game. And I mean, there's only positive things to say when you do that. The Anthony Rizzo home run was crushed, or at least it felt like it was in the upper deck. And every time he hits one, he pulls the living shit out of it. And I just hope that he can get hot soon enough. But good first game of the set. As you can see on the screen if you're watching the podcast on YouTube or Spotify, the highlights are playing right there. The Yankees won 3-0. Guys, you're listening to episode 377 of BD4. If you have not yet subscribed to the show, be sure to do that right now. And you can also follow me on Facebook, r.j.carbone, and on Instagram, at rjcarbone. I'm very active on both of those sites. Let's get to the third game of the set, shall we? The Yankees this afternoon, or should I say this morning, took a 5-4 victory in 10 innings. It was Jordan Montgomery versus Garcia. Top of the fourth, Javi Baez doubles, Daz Cameron singles. It's 2-0 Detroit. Bottom of the fifth, Joey Gallo with, of course, the game-tying home run to make it 2-2. Bottom of the seventh, it's DJ LeMahieu with a bases-loaded walk to drive in the third run, 3-2. Yankees took back the lead. Miggy and Baez in the top of the eighth. Back-to-back base hits to make it 4-3 Detroit, though. But, as the Yankees have done all year, they answer back right away. Bottom of the eighth, Gleyber Torres, fielder's choice, scores Rizzo. Gleyber goes to second. It's tied at 4. Bottom of the 10th, you got the man-thread rule. Judge eventually pushed to third base. Donaldson gets the sac fly to left field. Just misses a home run. Doesn't matter. And the Yankees win 5-4. 5 runs on 7 hits, 2 extra base hits, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts, a sac fly, 2 for 10 in scoring position, and 8 men left on base. Yeah, the lineup was quiet again. But again, even on their down night, or even on a down outing for the lineup, they find a way to score 5 runs. Right? You see this often. When they struggle to hit, when they struggle to score, they'll find a way to go for 5+. And every day it seems more and more like this is one of those Yankees teams who find ways to beat you in many different areas. They can beat you in so many other ways. And that was kind of their goal this offseason, right? That was sort of their goal, to get more athletic, to become better defensively, to run the bases a lot better, to add some more contact, some lefties in there. And of course their pitching, which they didn't even address. And we all thought that should have been addressed, has carried them. But the intangibles like that is why this Yankees team has been so good, right? They're top 10 in stolen bases this season. At least last I checked a couple days ago, and they had a few more. It's like that was never a thought. We're getting thrown out being aggressive on the bases this year, which I kind of like because we were never like that. We were way too conservative. Now we're taking those risks. We're doing everything we can to win. We're making comebacks. But we talk about base running. How about Rizzo? How about Rizzo today? Rizzo was 1 for 4. The stats weren't great, but he's one of those players you can't always look at the stats at because his footprints were all over this win. Just being that savvy veteran with such a high IQ helps tremendously. And let me get to Rizzo here, who is one of our featured players of the series. Now, again, the stats don't stand out. He was only 3 for 13. A single, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, 2 strikeouts, no walks, 9 total bases. Okay, whatever, right? And then the stat here on the screen coming up, he has 7 RBIs in his last 6 games and 10 in his last 10 games. But the thing with Rizzo right now is, just if you watch today's game, that was huge. That was huge, man. Being able to... So it was the bottom of the 9th, right? The bottom of the 9th, the Yankees are down 4-3. Rizzo's at the plate, and he gets hit by a pitch again. Takes one for the team. He takes first base. Donaldson takes the plate. During the Donaldson at-bat, Rizzo steals second base. Jonathan Scope makes a throwing error. Rizzo sees that ball go past the second baseman. He advances to third and just makes it. Then, after Donaldson strikes out, it's Gleyber Torres at the plate. Gleyber hits a ground ball dribbler to the third base side. Rizzo makes a quick read and he darts home, slides in, just makes it, ties the game. He went from first base to home plate on like a 3-minute timetable. Just being smart, being a good base runner. And he's the definition of this is a big white dude. He's not fast, but he's smart. He picks his spots. He's a savvy vet, and he knows how to play baseball. He's a baseball player. He's not one-dimensional like this Yankees team had been for so many years in the past. That's a big difference. That is dynamic, and that's why the Yankees won this game. His base running alone helped them win this game. That does not happen last season. It happens now, and it changed the momentum drastically. It was awesome, and it was in that moment I told myself, this is going to be the Yankees' win. They're going to win this game because of that alone. So I know his stats haven't been standing out, okay? He's had a miserable May, but it feels like in June he's starting to hit the ball a little more. And a lot of his outs are because of the stupid shift, right? Which is why I'm not against bringing him back next year, even if he opts out. Try to bring him back. Because it's not like with Gallo, where Gallo hits into the shift, yes, but he also strikes out in 40% of his plate appearances. Rizzo's a contact guy, and most of his outs are hard contact outs into the shift. But it seems like lately he's starting to find it. Hopefully, right? He can start hitting the ball better again. But he's a guy, man. Just shit like that is why you gotta love Anthony Rizzo. So, I just wanted to get that out there. DJ LeMahieu today went 0 for 3. 2 walks in there, though, in RBI. Since returning from the wrist injury, 7 games, he's batting .269, 387 OBP, 5 walks, 6 RBIs. Better. He looks better, you know, and quite a few of the outs he's hit into have been like hard hit line outs, too. Hopefully, man, you know, hopefully he can, like, I feel like I'm grasping at straws here at this point. I'm picking and trying to find things to stay optimistic about with him because I really want him to start looking like a legitimate leadoff hitter again, right? Every time I look up, though, the numbers don't change. He's batting .250. His OPS is barely over 700. Like, I don't know. I don't know what has to happen, but he's just not the same. And again, I'll say it again for you. He doesn't need to be the guy he was in 2019, 2020, but he can still be a guy that bats you 300. I'll take it. But he's not. He's just very average at the plate, very mediocre right now, and I don't know what it is. He's just maybe he's just not that good. I don't know, but he's kind of a big piece to me. I really need him to get going because I feel like in the playoffs they're going to need him. But you know he's. I wouldn't be surprised that, you know, if he continues to struggle, I would not be surprised if he lost his leadoff spot. The Yankees are, over the past couple years, they flirted with the idea of Aaron Judge as a leadoff hitter. So if he's, I don't know, he did hit a home run in the middle game. But just keep an eye on that if LeMahieu continues to, you know, be average at the plate. He's playing great defense. Gallo, the home run, he got the belt. You're kind of seeing that with the Yankees this year. They're giving the belt to guys who are struggling. It's like a team camaraderie thing. I have no issue with that legitimately. Judge is our other feature position player of this series. He went 6 for 13, 4 singles, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 2 strikeouts, a walk, 12 total bases. And Aaron Judge now has just been so good where he is currently ranked top 8 in each of the Triple Crown categories. I really want him to get that. I don't think he's going to. But, like, damn, is he having a year. He's batting .313 on the season. He's got 21 home runs, which is a pace for over 60 home runs to break Mantle and Maris. 42 RBIs. The OPS is over 1,000. I think it's 1.059 when I checked earlier. He's having like a 2007 A-Rod type season where he's just going berserk. He's going off the charts. He's insane right now. Like, if you were to predict Aaron Judge's final numbers on the season, considering he continues to stay healthy, what does it look like? Like, is it so good to where, like, he's going to demand some stupid contract? Dare I say $400 million? Oh, shit. But he's having his best season yet. It's not even a question. Like, this is so far better than his 2017 season, where this is better. I don't know what else to say. Like, there's now a legitimate conversation to have about who the best player in baseball is now. Like, we're hearing that conversation. I'm not saying he isn't. I'm not saying he is. Sorry. I still think it's Trout. But having the conversation used to be a joke. It used to be Mike Trout, and it wasn't even a question. Now you can at least bring it up in a conversation. Is it Judge? Is it Trout? I still think it's Trout, and I still think most fans around the league, if you ask them, would say Trout. But you can at least have the conversation without getting laughed at like you're doing stand-up, I think. I mean, right now, like I said, Mike Trout just forgot how to hit. So, and also Judge, it's not just the hitting, right? He is doing a hell of a job in center field this season. So well to where he's become their starting center fielder over their starting center fielder, Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks has now become a left fielder. Joey Gallo has now become a right fielder. Judge is in center. That's become the new alignment. That's the new Yankee outfield alignment, is Hicks, Judge, Gallo, left to right in that order. And I have no problem with it now. But eventually, again, you're going to have to find another outfielder so Judge can get back to his natural position in right field, better for his health, and better for this lineup to have one of Gallo or Hicks out the fuck of here. So, nothing but positive about Judge. IKF, he had a good series, man. IKF, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, was 2 for 3 in the final game. He stays hot. I know he's a very streaky hitter. He's shown that with us. He's had some good stretches. He's had some bad stretches at the plate. But I like him a lot. I do. I say it all the time. I'm a fan of him. He's a solid bottom of the order bat. He plays an okay shortstop. And when he's hitting, he's hitting. He's now 11 for 31, 355 in his last 10 games. 3 walks and 3 stolen bases in there, one of each of those today. His average has jumped 19 points since the beginning of that 10-game span. Listen, he's not a power guy. He's not a home run guy, not an on-base percentage, walks, OPS guy. He's going to get you a ton of singles, and that's the best he'll do offensively. But that's good. When he's hot, he's a guy who can keep the line moving. So for a light hitter, those numbers are not the worst in the world. For a bottom-of-the-order hitter, guy who you're not expecting much offense out of, he's been giving you a decent amount. And again, given that Gleyber Torres was playing shortstop last year, IKF has been a solid upgrade. He still has some moments out there, but he's been better than the nightmare that was 2020, 2021 Gleyber Torres at short. I almost gave IKF the featured player spot, but one, you can't not give one of those spots to Judge, and two, Rizzo hitting homers in back-to-back games, and then as big as he was on the bases today, I also couldn't not give it to him, despite the numbers not being great. Stanton sat today. He ended up pinch hitting, but he did not start. I mean, why? Like, dude, he just had 10 consecutive days of rest on the DL. There is a day off tomorrow. The least you could have done, the very least you could have done, was put him at DH. But the Yankees, Boone, whoever, they love the double off day, doubling up when you can. I guess that's something that's never going to go away. On the pitching side of things, we got a disgusting, pathetic 6 1/3, 2 runs outing from Montgomery, which, if that's the worst we're going to get recently, I mean, shit. 6 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, no home runs. The no decision, of course. And the ERA is now 3.02. Yeah, he was great. And I called it again. And it happened again. Boone did the usual. He lets Monty go back out for the 7th, gives him one batter, regardless of the outcome, regardless of his pitch count, and then pulls him. And he did just that. He gets the out. He's pulled with 90 pitches. Bottom of the order coming up didn't matter. But, Boone wanted the righty-righty matchup with Schmidt. So I guess I get it. But it's just odd that Monty is the one to get the leash all the time. Today was actually his season high, 90 pitches. So it's like, you can't test the waters with him. but everybody else can. I don't know. He pitched well. I mean, he only got in trouble one time, which was in the top of the fourth. The 1-out walk to Miggy. Then Baez goes down and reaches for the changeup. Doubles off that to center field. Miggy goes from first to freaking home on the play, which was pretty humiliating. Then you had Daz Cameron get the RBI base hit off Torres' glove, which he should have gotten in front of. That was an error on his part. He has a tendency of doing that from time to time. But yeah, I mean, it didn't matter because the Yanks answered back right away. They had his back. IKF steals, Gallo homers, and then Monty found it, kept going. The curveball was good as the game progressed. After him, it was Miguel Castro. And I said it. I'm not a fan of going to Castro in a tight game. And he goes to Castro in a tight game, and what happens? Everything you expect to happen when you go to Castro in a tight game. I could have told you that. I did tell you that. I kind of wanted them to go to King there, and it was frustrating because they end up using King anyway, so it was like, oh, great, thanks. And they do that all the time, where they try to double up on rest with the reliever, but the game ends up being so close, and you end up having to be forced to use that guy you tried to rest anyway. King only threw 7 pitches in a 1-2-3 yesterday. It's like you don't put Castro into close games. Everybody knows this. Especially with Miggy Cabrera coming up, and he gets the base hit off the sinker. But whatever. I mean, King came in later, got his second consecutive scoreless outing. I hope he's good now. Got the bad out of his system, and now he's back to being who he was previous to that. ERA is back under 3, which is good. In my opinion, 3 for a reliever is like the benchmark for elite level, or maybe just very good relievers are usually under 3. And he also got the win. But I was a little nervous, man. I didn't like the Castro move. Didn't like how he went to Peralta right after that. Not going to lie. Peralta did make a great play to first today with that throw, but he goes to King after Peralta. But whatever. Yeah, so shout out to the Yankees for continuing to just roll right now. Roll. Hold on one sec. Here we go. I have no complaints. Holy Christ, that's all I have. I mean, the Yankees are, they're pitching so well. They're trying out this new strategy, which I think is a pretty good idea. They're trying this new strategy where they're just not allowing hits, and it's worked to perfection. I'm totally on board with this idea. I think if they keep riding with this game plan of not allowing hits anymore, that they have a good shot at success here in 2022. So I would prefer them to continue not allowing other lineups to hit against them. I think it's a great strategy. Marcus Stroman agrees. Right, Stroman? If you didn't see that tweet, Jesus Christ, look it up. I mean, it's like how many guys are now flirting with perfect games and no-hitters to where it's like you're thinking that it's going to eventually come. Right? I mean, you had Cole, Tyone, Nestor before all that, Severino, the one-hitter. It's insane. By the way, that photo of Nestor Cortez and some of the other Yankee starters in the bucket hats, amazing. But yeah, 10 starts now where our guys have went 6 innings pitched or longer. Just horses, goddamn horses. Literally every guy in this rotation has ace-like numbers. The graphic that I saw after yesterday's game, the middle game, holy Lord. The highest ERA on the team is a 3.02 for Montgomery. Jesus Christ. That's an ace line. And hey, the pen. There was a stat today, and it went up after the win. The Yankees are now 31-0. 31-0, by the way, when leading after the 7th inning. So credit to the bullpen for remaining steady without some top arms in there. And of course, the so many clutch moments from this lineup. Like we said, they find ways to stay in a game, and they find ways to come up big and win. Donaldson now has 2 walk-off wins with the Yankees. Glaber has like 6 million since he entered the league. Judge got his first walk-off home run this year. They've just been very clutch all season long. They have 15 comeback wins, which is first in baseball, and they also have 6 walk-off wins on the season, which is first in baseball. It's that no-quit attitude this year that has gotten them where they are. I'm not calling them special. I don't like to use that term, special, in June. But that attitude, that persona, is what makes certain teams special. I will say that. Speaking of special and everything, if you really want me to call them special, and if you really want me to buy in, I will let you know how I feel legitimately about this team by the end of the month. So stay tuned, because this was really the last gimme series outside of maybe the Cubs coming up. So you have 3 against the Twins in Minnesota. You got the Cubs for 3 games at home. Then you have the Tampa Bay Rays for 3 more games at home. You're going to Toronto for 3 games. You're going to, the Trop after that to play the Rays again for 3 games. And then you're wrapping up the tough stretch at the end of the month against the Astros at home for 4 games. Stretch ends there on the 26th of June. All that, let's see, that's 3, 4. That's what, 15, 20, 19 games right there? Can you do, man, it would be something. It would be something if they can figure out to win 14 of those 19 games. Go 14-5. That would be, that. If you want me to call them special, I think 14-5 would definitely get me calling this team special. Keep this episode in your saved folder, whatever the fuck. Just keep it in mind, because I'm gonna write that down. I will call them special if they find a way to win 14 of the 19 games on that stretch coming up. But the Twins are next, though. The Twins are next, so we got to focus there. They are first in the American League Central. They were 32-24 when I checked this afternoon. But the Yankees are 39-15. They are still on pace for the best record ever. They have a plus 102 run differential. They're 32-9 since that 7-6 start. 6 wins in a row right now. We are officially 1/3 of the way through, so things are looking good. They're 7.5 up on Toronto. Again, that was before I checked. That was earlier today. 8 up on Tampa, 12.5 up on Boston, which is awesome. It's hilarious that they're still 12.5 up on Boston, because Boston has I guess started to win a little more lately, but they've literally made 0 progress because the Yankees just don't lose baseball games, knock on wood. I mean, their worst stretch of the season was losing 3 in a row for the first time all year last week. That was like all hell broke loose. Outside that, they've been a wagon. They've been a fucking wagon. So let's head to break and we'll wrap it up when we get back. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this episode. But first, I also want to let you know I have another blog. The blog I'm writing for is on ultimatesportsnetworks.com, titled The Bomber Bocker Blog. If you want to go subscribe to this blog, you should do so using my promo code 6A2841ERJC. Using that, you'd get a discount, $7.99 a month, to get the best Knicks and Yankees opinionated content around. Once again, guys, the Bomber Bocker Blog on ultimatesportsnetworks.com, using promo code 6A2841ERJC, $7.99 a month. A custom wall tapestry is a surefire way to uplift any room's aesthetics with a personal touch. This 100% polyester wall tapestry comes with hemmed edges for extra durability, while its mildew and water-resistant properties ensure years' worth of decorating bliss. The advanced tapestry printing techniques guarantee crisp detail even for the craziest of designs, and any of the multiple size choices. You can select a size of 26 by 36 inches, 51 by 60, 68 by 80, and 88 by 104. These wall tapestries usually ship in 7 to 10 business days, and the price ranges from $24.99 to $69.99, all dependent on the size you select. The Bomber Bocker blog wall tapestries come in orange, gray, and black. But most importantly, be sure when purchasing a wall tapestry for the Bomber Bocker blog that you use promo code 6A2841ERJC. 6A2841ERJC. Just go to ultimatesportsnetworks.com and click on the Shop MVP tab, searching the Bomber Bocker blog. And there you have it. Alright, so we're going to wrap this episode up with our final 2 segments. First, we will begin with our NYY-NYK-MMA question of the day for episode 377, which is, in February of 2004, the Yankees traded Alfonso Soriano and how many other players for Alex Rodriguez? In February of 2004, the Yankees traded Alfonso Soriano and how many other players for Alex Rodriguez? So let me know the answer wherever you can reach me on. Just DM me, comment, and let me know wherever you can find me. If you get the answer correct, I'll give you a shout out in the next episode. If you don't get it correct, but you at least attempt to guess the answer, I'll let you know what the answer is in the next episode. Alright, so one last time. In February of 2004, the Yankees traded Alfonso Soriano and how many other players for Alex Rodriguez? Alright. With that said, we're going to wrap up the show with our final segment, which is, if you're new here, this will be our third time doing this segment, called Who Am I? If you're new, Who Am I is a segment we do where I'm going to list the career of a former Yankee. And what I mean by list a career is I'm going to read off the different teams he's played for in his career in chronological order. And you're going to have to guess who it is. All right, so once I read the different teams he's played for in chronological order, I'm going to give you 1 minute to guess which former Yankee that is. All right, and then I will let you know the answer right away after that 1 minute. So let's do this one. This one, I played for the Yankees from 2005 to 2009. The Braves in 2010. The Royals in 2011. The Giants in 2012. The Blue Jays from 2013 to 2014. The White Sox from 2015 to 2017. The Royals in 2017. The Indians in 2018. They were the Indians at the time. And the Pittsburgh Pirates in 2019. All right, I will read that to you one more time so you can get it in your head. I played for the Yankees from 05 to 09. Braves 2010. Royals 2011. Giants 2012. Blue Jays 13 and 14. White Sox 15 to 17. Royals 17. Indians 18. Pirates 19. Who am I? We are starting the countdown right now. All right, your time is up. Our Who Am I? The answer to our Who Am I segment. Played for the Yankees from 05 to 09. Braves in 2010. Royals in 11. Giants 12. Jays 13 to 14. White Sox 15 to 17. Royals 17. Indians 18. Pirates 19. Our answer to that, Who Am I? Melky Cabrera. Melky Cabrera, yes. Started his career with the Yankees from 2005 to 2009. He was fun. He became dominant after he left the Yankees because he was taking the roids and he got busted mid-season in that run with the Giants. But he was fun. He was fun. Melky Cabrera. Yeah. All right, guys. That's it. That's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Episode 377 of the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. I always appreciate it. Ciao. This podcast is brought to you by Anchor. It's the best way to make a podcast. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm.